council. We're waiting for absolute confirmation, but we can confirm that the building around across, the pub around the corner, is instead of being an iPass, it's going to be 4 houses, a flat, and I think a little shop, which is great because this is adding to our community. So absolutely, we'd like to give a hand of applause for Mr. Kane, and we hope that Louth Council expedite this planning permission, because this is the planning permission that we need. You know, we need homes for our children to live in. If there's nowhere for our children to live in, well, then our children are gone bye-bye. A few things we have to talk about. Also now, there does remain the Bridge Street. I got a message this morning saying that a note has been sent to the council to withdraw the application for 99 to 100 on Bridge Street. So that is another win. That is another win. The application was still pending as of about a month and a half ago, but it's absolutely been cancelled. There is still 93 Park Street, and this is a bit of a strange one. It was applied for under the exemption, looking for an exemption to be flats for iPass applicants. But I mean, that's racist. You know, why did you just have flats for everyone? Why are they flats for the iPass? Anyway, I don't know, was that supposed to be an iPass in all but name? Not really sure. Anyway, that was classed as not a development, so I don't know if, you know, what exactly are her plans, but the statement that we want to make tonight is that we are not accepting iPasses in Dundalk. Dundalk has done enough, folks. We have the Carnbeg, over 500 people in the Carnbeg. The Fairways is full. The orphanage, we have to see who's going in there. I believe the Gateway Hotel, the one up there by Moore. So Dundalk has taken quite enough, and at the end of the day, the government are facilitating the destruction of our country. It's something that I want to talk to is what the government and the NGOs have been doing to Ireland. The government's disastrous immigration policies. To cover them up and to avoid scrutiny, the government have got together with the NGOs, and they have created this figment of an imaginary far right, a horrible far right, full of Nazis and fascists. And, you know, the last thing that we are Nazis and fascists. But they have created this spectre. And what the government are doing, and what Republicans all over Ireland don't realise, is that they have become pawns for the state. The government have told Republican was never really about anti-racism and anti-fascism. It was always about Ireland, a love for Ireland, a 32-county republic, the promotion of our language, the promotion of our culture, the protection, the security, and the advancement of the Irish people, our culture, and our whole country. So republicanism has become totally thwarted in the last few years, and when exactly that happened, we don't know. How deep was the MI5 infiltration into Sinn Féin and the IRA? The IRA, which was one, the Sinn Féin, which was once so anti-Europe, so anti-corporation, is now facilitating this and applauding this, and Sinn Féin have become EU loyalists. They are loyal to the EU, and republicanism was never ever ever about it was never ever ever about that. Republicanism to me was always a strong man, a man who loved freedom, I should say, who was dreamed and aspired to have a united Ireland. But what is happening is that by Republicans opposing the imaginary far right, they are acting as pawns for the government, and private enterprise is just taking over. What's happening is all these people are coming into the country, and they are keeping the wages low. That's the first thing, and that benefits big corporations, which is totally against republicanism at all. And I'm talking about republicanism because Dundalk and Drogheda and Louth is such a Republican county, Republican towns. But so what is happening is the corporations, they want cheap labour. So all these people coming into the country are that cheap labour. Now, it's the private corporations then are providing accommodation for the cheap labour. So what we have here, and I've drawn a little diagram, we have private enterprise here, we have the unskilled workers coming in, which are keeping the Irish people's wages down low, and we have the Irish taxpayers at the bottom. Now the private enterprise, they're getting a win because they're getting low paid workers, okay? Supply and demand, it will always keep wages low. And now the low skilled workers, they're doing fine. They're in a country, it's good for them, you know, it's different from where they came from. So the private enterprise, they've got a win there with getting the low skilled workers. Now these people here in the middle have to be housed. So private enterprise is providing the accommodation for those low skilled workers. That is all paid by the taxpayers. So it's a win-win for private enterprise. And that is everything the Republicanism is against. It's for the people, it's for the workers. So this is a very important time that Republicans need to question what is Republicanism. What is republicanism these days? There was an article in the Burkean, which is a leftist publication, and it was actually very along the lines that I'm thinking of myself. And it spoke about how mass immigration is destabilising our country. Now these are Republican people, and they're calling into question what are the beliefs. So they're saying that mass immigration is totally destabilising the country. So it's hard to read my own writing here. That in Irish Ireland was always the Republican ideology. And mass immigration at high speed, at the rate that it's coming into this country, is totally preventing any kind of assimilation whatsoever. We had a 10% increase in our population over the 2 years, 2022 and 2023. That is absolutely crazy. That's a 10% increase. Our services can't take it. All over, the doctors, the A&E, all our services, our sewerage systems, you know, the things that people don't think about, the infrastructure that we need to function as a society, it's breaking down, it's been overpowered, and it will collapse. Now the problem here is not the people coming into the country, okay, some of them are chancers, some of them are criminals, they're not all escaping persecution, many of them can be escaping prosecution. The government are putting our children in danger. The people who are coming into the country, they are putting our young girls and women don't feel safe walking the streets of Dundalk in the evening. This is happening all over Ireland. Carlingford, there are people in Carlingford who are ready to stand up. RD are ready to stand up. Drogheda is absolutely being persecuted with IPAS recently after only having the D Hotel as well. And so we hope that the whole of Louth rises and that the people, will stand up and speak, because people don't realise that they're living in